I guess just to kind of wrap things up, my last question for you is: you're a guy with vision. You've been involved with this for a decent amount of time. What's the potential of this market in terms of looking at the potential of this versus other areas of the contingent workforce market, other areas of kind of procurement? What, because it feels to me like we're moving more and more into a service-based economy anyway. But where do you see the potential of this in the kind of longer term?
One thing I wanted to throw out that I think gets lost sometimes on the last statement before this question is that if you are truly utilizing statement of work and services in the approved, correct manner, based on the functionality, the tasks, and the contracting part of it. One thing that often gets overlooked is when you're dealing with contingent workers and contingent work, task-based employment risk. Go to that employment risk. What's the biggest thing on the contingent worker side? Your managers can't really give direct feedback about performance, right? I mean, they can rate the worker in a numbers fashion, or there's approved, dispositions when you're done with it. But on the goods and services side, because that is a different type of structure and you're dealing with a company, there is nothing that says that you can also track along with time to complete, were they on time, how many changes of scope or extensions did you have, blah, blah, blah. You can track all that data. You can also track what the hiring leader really felt about the success of the project, and they can be very candid, and you can track that and report on it. Whereas on the contingent labor side, you really can't do that. Now, if you're misclassifying contingent workers and putting it under SOW, yeah, this is where it becomes a legal morass sometimes, and it becomes very sticky as to what you can say and do, and what you're kind of limited, right? But if it's classified correctly, hey, all bets are off. Man, X and such company did a horrible job. They missed it. We don't ever want to use them again, blah, blah. You can put that and report on it. It's different as long as it's not, reputationally besmirching of that company within reason, but legal can help you define that. But all right, so where do I think the terms of potential are with this? Is that the question?
Yeah. Where could this get to?
I had argued this the last 4 years or so, that I think this is the biggest area of savings that contingent labor programs can get their arms around. Just even if they, again, catch a small percentage of that, do the low-hanging fruit and classify it correctly and be able to make the case to lower those rates, because why are you paying for risk you're not absorbing, that supplier's not absorbing? I mean, that to me is huge. And if you can make that case and demonstrate that to the business, they'll start to realize over time. And I think this is the area that could, as we said before, it can be 2 times, it can be 5 times, it can be 10 times, it can be 80 times what your contingent spend flowing through your organization is today. And I think that's probably the largest area of focus that, when it comes to a cost savings perspective, and I know everybody really dogs on procurement about everything's cost savings, beating up the suppliers, saving money. No, it's not always about beating up the suppliers to save money. It's about buying in the right channel. It's about buying in the correct manner. That's where you can affect savings. And your suppliers, other than begrudgingly over time, some of your services suppliers that aren't really services suppliers, they might get their nose out of joint a little bit over time. But the fact is, they really weren't buying in the correct channel to begin, or they weren't providing workers in the correct channel. So at some point they have to realize, yeah, we just got caught with our hand in the cookie jar, and we'll have to go back to contingent rates for these workers. And managers will realize that too. It's like, yeah, it was an easy way to get around the program, so I didn't have to get approval. Yeah, okay, we get that. But eventually, at some point, we have to make sure that we're ensuring value to the stockholders of an organization, and that means buying and being good stewards of their money. So I think the biggest potential in our industry is, I think there's 2 things. Statement of work, definitely, because that is where, even if you get a small piece of it, if it's as big an animal as most of the think tanks believe it is, you're going to be saving money.